Flying above these trees, let's see. Oh, I just rode right through cow shit. Oh no! Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Sean Oz. This is the World of Oz, where I like to present to you my lifestyle in the Wait a minute. I'm not in the Rocky Mountains today. I'm out in Austin, Texas with the Skydio 2 and the Mavic Air 2, and we're going to do another tracking video. This is not like the video that I've done before where I was using the remote control on both to work in tight small areas. This is actually going to be a video where I'm using an electric skateboard going back and forth on this road right here that you see by me, and we're going to dip through some trees and see which one can actually track me the smoothest. Keep in mind, normally when you do a video with drones, you're not just playing the video from point A to point B. You're gonna chop it up, put it to music and things like that. And I'm actually gonna take video from both of these drones. I'm gonna chop it together and make a fun little video. If nothing else, make sure you at least skip forward to see that so you can see how these simple drones can be used as a tool and not just a toy to make cool stuff for yourself on your own channel or whatever else you might want to use it for. If you are new here and you like this kind of content, normally with the Rocky Mountains behind me, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the little bell notification so you don't miss it whenever I put together new videos like this for you guys. So let's go ahead and start with the Mavic Air. We know in its active track mode that it does better when it's following from behind. It does have a parallel mode, and if the area is wide enough, you can actually get it to follow decently from the side of you. It's not actually following directly from the side. It's like a little bit behind you and pointed at an angle so that the sensor is still somewhat getting a read of what's coming in front of you. And that's how it sort of keeps from hitting things in active track mode in parallel. Now, as far as it following in front of you, it doesn't do a great job, and it sometimes will like mess up and go and almost hit you. If you're buying this as a tracking drone, please make sure to watch this video. Tracking is more of a bonus for this drone. It's not something you would buy this drone for. The manual flight characteristics of this drone is really the big selling point in my opinion. Now, to track with the DJI drone, you do have a controller that you have to figure out what you're going to do with it, whether you put it in a backpack, hold it, or set it on the ground and hope that you don't need it during that time. However, when using the Skydio drone, you have this small little beacon, and I'll explain more about that when we actually fly the Skydio. The first thing you've got to do is set this up with your phone in it and use your phone to actually drag a box around the subject matter, and then it will track that subject matter. So let's go ahead and get the skateboard set up and get the drone set up, and we're going to tuck through these trees and keep it low behind me, and we'll do a pass behind, and then we'll come back and do a pass on the side and see if it can actually do some tracking through this big of a gap. We had no luck when I did the parallel before on a smaller path back in Colorado. That's scary. Don't hit that tree. Don't hit those trees. Oh, the trees were just too close, and a lot of people in the comments were like, you don't even know how to use parallel. The fact is you have to have space to use parallel. Otherwise, it will not stay to the side of you, and it will automatically drop behind you again and again and again. So let's find out if it does that today. Now, you probably heard me say this before, but I really like this controller setup. I just wish that DJI would let us have the control in the Fly app to be able to slow down our yaw. Double tap to turn it on, double tap the drone, and we're good to go. I'm gonna see if we can put it in HDR because it's a beautiful blue sky day, as you can hopefully see behind me. And when you're filming in HDR mode, it makes those blues pop compared to those clouds. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the Skydio too. We are gonna be filming in 1080 60 so that we can slow it down just a little bit. And you will be able to notice when I'm in a higher frame rate on the Air 2 versus the Skydio 2, because HDR actually doesn't work in anything higher than 30 frames per second. All right, so we can see the drone is over here just hovering behind us. We're gonna go ahead and select a box around me, and I'm gonna try it by leaving the controller here and hoping that we don't need the controller. Otherwise, I gotta zip back over here and get it, and fingers crossed we don't wreck the drone. All right, so you can see there's me in the screen. Don't get confused, because you can like actually touch your controller and drag it and move your gimbal around. But what we want to do is just actually drag a box over the subject like so. And we're going to hit active track and make that go yellow, leave it in trace mode, and that's it. It should start going. Let's go ahead and set the controller in the shade because it's like 1,000,000 degrees here. Come on. So here's one of the differences with the Mavic Air versus the Skydio is it doesn't always pick you up and follow you the way you want it to. So depending on what you're doing, it can sort of be a pain in the ass. It went back to spotlight mode, so let's go ahead and switch it back to active track, hit trace. Now, I think we got it. Let's give it a try. I have no controller with me, and I'm just gonna hope that it does okay. Oh, we need to make sure A-Pass is on. Make sure you click the top button, and you can go down and you'll find Advanced Pilot Assistance System. Make sure that is on if you're going to be going through some trees and stuff like what we're doing. Now, it is totally flying on its own. The only controller I have with me is this. And I'm pretty confident with the Skydio, but I'm not that confident with the Mavic Air yet. So far, it's doing okay. It's staying with me. We're going to go down here and see how it does in this open spot. Getting some speed. And then we're going to turn around and go back. Staying behind me, it's doing pretty good. All right, let's turn around and go through the trees again. And then we'll set it up in parallel and see if it can do it through the trees. It's going to move around and reposition itself till it's behind me. And this time I'm just going to go and see if it can keep up. You can notice, hopefully you can see it behind me. It's adjusting its own well, the battery in the skateboard's almost dead. That sort of sucks. No, it's not. What is wrong with it? All right, missed all those trees. And it seems to be doing okay. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So we're going to stop up here and we're going to switch it into parallel mode. All right. Oh, great. Oh, look at that. Manned aircraft nearby. There's like a tiny little personal airplane over there. And this is my first time being anywhere near planes while I'm flying this. So that's sort of cool to see that. Let's go back to active track. We're going to hit parallel. Let's try it one more time and see if it will work in parallel mode. So in theory, it should try to stay to the side of me. And it's not even moving, it got back in spotlight. Weird. I'm getting a warning message in Chinese. I hope that was something you guys could hear. Let's try it again. Just seriously switch back to spotlight mode. So not carrying the controller around, you can see one of the downsides is that you got to go back to the controller every time the damn thing doesn't work right. Active track again, parallel again. Come on, go. Aha! It will not do it in parallel in this spot. That's why it keeps switching back to spotlight. It says the space is too narrow. So let's go ahead and put it back in just regular old trace mode. It's switched back to spot. No, here it goes. For some reason, with the DJI active track, it really doesn't start following you until you're pretty far away. It's not like you can select it to be in front of you and it will stay in front of you. You can't really keep it to the side of you, but you can get some nice high up shots, and that's something. Actually, let's go turn around and try that. We'll manually set it up as high as over the trees and do a shot through them like that. I'm a little weirded out turning around because it backs up first, and I'm afraid it's going to hit a tree when it does that. But there we go. It did it just fine. Oh, Jesus, that scared me. Is it gonna, did I lose it? Now here's the problem. I have no control. Oh, look at that. It figured it out. I didn't have to go back for it. I didn't have to get the controller. I was just about to say, well, I lost it. Now I got to go get the controller and go get it. But it did it. Active track, if it's a secondary thing you need with a drone, it's a great bonus with this drone to have that ability if you need it. But I wouldn't buy it for that feature alone. Now let's go ahead and move it up. Do a little higher just to be safe. We're going to put it back in active track. Trace, go. All right, so it says we are too high. 40. Go. Come on. Huh. Like the current firmware of the Skydio, it can only follow you at about 30 feet. The new update on the Skydio can let you do up to 130 feet. I'm a little weirded out because 30 feet isn't really tall enough to clear everything here. So we're gonna really trust it this time, and it didn't even track me. Just don't buy this if you're wanting it for active track, because that's really not what it's good at. Draw a little box. Just go. Set the controller down. All right, it's got us this time. Let's try it again. 30 feet up. And trace mode behind us. And it lost us again. This is pretty much how it is almost every damn time I fly any kind of DJI drone with active track. Sometimes it works awesome, sometimes it just doesn't work at all. It's not even in active track mode, it turned off. Try it one more time. Select myself, come on. Active track, go. And I'm gonna put this down here. Can you see me? Following me? Nope, I'm gonna set it down away from the vehicle this time. It seems to be going. Let's try it one last time. Oh, don't hit the tree. Woo! Why is it going that way? Shouldn't it turn around? Yeah, always. Even if it's in front of you, it eventually turns around to follow you. Now this is where it's just barely skimming over these trees. Woo! That's sort of freaky. Lost me in the trees. So that's something to keep in mind with active track on the DJI products, is it needs to have a visual line of sight of you to be able to really track you. I think we might actually have to get the controller this time, because it's flying above these trees. Let's see. Oh, I just rode right through cow shit. Oh no. Oh no. And it was fresh too. Oh, it's all over. Awesome. Controller, that thing's just gonna hover there until I take manual control. Oh, that's so gross. Let's run the skateboard in the dirt. Oh, get off my wheels. Ugh, that stinks. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the drone back. We'll switch to the Skydio and start this recording from that point. We have the beacon. I also connected it to the phone, really just so I could do a screenshot so you could see sort of what some of the controls look like. We can do HDR here. And we're gonna change it to 60. And that works for this flight. Now you can either launch it with the beacon or hold the button on your phone to launch it. We're gonna go ahead and use the beacon. So we're gonna hold these two blue buttons and it's gonna take off and it should go up and try to locate us. And now it's found us. So I am gonna need to turn this camera off and we're just gonna talk while the Skydio films me. So by using this controller and this beacon, we should be able to point this wherever we want the drone to fly easily by pushing the blue button and then moving it over here. And I can go down and you see how it's found me. It actually thinks I'm that. So because of that, we can then use the phone, click no motion track, turn it off, rotate it until it finds me. Back up a little bit. Well, it avoided the tree by itself. Select me, and now it's corrected. I can use the controller by saying stay in front, and we're gonna go ahead and go this way now. Now, as you can see, this right off the bat is something that you cannot do with the Air 2, is have it follow from in front of you. Now with the Skydio, I'm really not that worried, although it is going up for some reason. That's weird. It had plenty of room. Oh no, there's wires! That's the one thing you gotta watch for with the Skydio is, well, any drone is wires. Whew, that was scary. And it made it over the trees and followed me over here. Let's go ahead and turn it to the back. Point it so it's a little lower, and turn around and do the same thing again. And we'll see how it follows through the tree. Why is it going there? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Back, there we go. Let's go, skateboard. Battery on this thing is dying on me. So far, No problem through the trees. Let's watch the cow patty this time. Can't believe I hit that. Woo! No problems. All right. We're going to put it to the front and try again. Turn this thing around. But I'm going to go ahead and move it manually over here by pushing the blue button. You push it at the drone and move it over here. Put it where I want it. I like to get it low to the ground. Come on. That might be as low as it'll let me go. See how it does this time. Stay down this time, Skydio. Stay low. All right, so far so good. Again, this is cool because if you're doing a tracking mode where you're wanting to follow yourself, well, you can look at the camera, have a mic on like I do, and just sort of go about doing your thing, and it's going to be your built-in cameraman just sort of following you, keeping you in the shot, correcting the shot whenever it goes a different way. So let's go ahead and turn it around. Woo! This time we're going to put it on the side of us. Now this is something that I couldn't get the DJI drone to do today. This would be considered parallel mode. All right, so we got it on the right. A lot of trees in the way here. So let's see what happens. Get a little speed. A lot of trees right there. What's it gonna do? Okay, it readjusted to go around the trees. And it's staying there. A little bit more to behind us. But it went around the tree again. And it tries to get back to my right, but then there's a tree. And it went around it. And we're going to go ahead and take it a little further this time in this big open area and see what happens. Okay, you going to catch me? And it hauls ass. If it loses you, it hauls butt to get back in the right spot. Up and around that tree. I got an ant on me. And you can actually make it further away from you by hitting the plus signal, which is pretty dope. Now after the update, I'll be able to make it go a lot further away from me. We can turn it back to the front of us. Now we got it to the front left. Now when you change it, it makes these sudden movements, right? Those are the movements typically you'll cut out unless you get lucky and they look good. But most of the time, these are the sudden movements, the positioning, those are the movements that you cut out and you don't use when you're actually making a standalone video. Now, I do like the fact that you can do 60 frames a second with HDR mode. I think that's pretty cool. You can do 4K 60 frames a second with this drone also. If you guys are interested in an HDR video versus an HDR video, let me know and I'll actually set something like that up. All right, we're gonna head back and talk about what we think. Woo, get positioned. Now we can get closer too. So minus will bring it in a little closer, which is pretty cool. Look, so now I don't have a camera. I'm just talking to you here and it works. Now keep in mind whenever you do it in front of you and close, you get stuff like this when there's obstacles in the way. So in a big straightaway like this, I should be able to point it, drop it again, and it's going to be in a great shot for me to just sort of talk to the camera, see you guys, say, hey, everybody on YouTube, how's it going? I'm riding an electric skateboard. Look at me, I'm Casey Neistat. Or whatever. Or you can point it and move it. And that's it. Point it and move it behind us. Or on top of us. And then to land it, you can actually take manual controls, or just, if you're over something safe, or under it, you just hold the red square button. And it says landing 3, 2, 1, landing. Going down. What happens if you run over and poof. Now, something I don't normally have is both of these out with me at the same time. I'll bring one or the other. If I'm going to do something I know I'm going to be tracking with just a little bit of flying, I'll use the controller for the Skydio for that little bit of flying close by, and I'll use the tracking. However, if you want to manually fly and you just want that little bit of active track, then I'd recommend going with the Mavic Air. It is an incredible drone for the price point. The Skydio, to get the full setup, is definitely going to cost you more than the Mavic Air 2 will. To get the Fly More combo, it's about $9.99. To get everything with the Skydio with an extra battery, you're looking at closer to $1,500. So there is definitely a price difference in the technology. Both, again, are great drones. It just depends on what you want. Do you want those far out flying shots, or do you want closer by shots that you can manually go in between trees and things like that while you're flying it without worrying about it? And how badly do you need tracking to actually be in front of the subject or to the side of the subject? Because if you really need that, then the Skydio is really the only drone at this time that offers it in that way. The Mavic Air 2 is a great tracking drone for behind and a little bit to the side, but mostly behind. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos about the Mavic Air 2 as well as the Skydio 2, let me know in those comments below. Leave your questions about which drone, and I'll try to include those questions in a future video about those drones. And until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Well, this video just turned sort of